Welcome to Lion Strong, where you get to become who you were designed to be. My name is Lyonel. I'm the host for the podcast. Welcome to this session today. I am excited to have you guys here. This is going to be kind of a different one for us. So one of the things that's really interesting is that I had a lot of new conversations with people this week, and I've been noticing a trend over the last couple of months that kind of really highlighted itself over this past week for me, and I definitely want to address that. Now, what I'm about to talk about right now is going to piss off a lot of people. Good. It should. Hopefully, it'll piss you off enough to actually do something about it and put yourselves first as priority. So, the trend that I'm talking about is actually watching what's going on with people when it comes to their health and their fitness and actually wanting to get better. Now, with what we do here at Lion Strong, we serve both men and women. There's no really distinction for us. We really want to be able to help anyone who's looking to improve the way that they feel, the way that they move, the way that they actually perform and who they become in life. So there are men who want to become absolute total badasses, and there are women who are exactly the same, who want to do that as well. But the one thing that we all have in common is that the number one goal for everyone is to make sure that their health is improving as we get older, which is something that everybody should want. And what I find that's been really kind of disturbing to me is watching this trend with certain people where the men would come here, they'd go through the process, they'd figure out what they need to do, and then they just decide and start. And then they go on and deal with whatever it is, however it is from there. Now, some of them are single men, others are married with children and their families and whatever, but it doesn't really matter which ones they are. They always basically make the decisions for what they're going to do without having to consult with anyone per se and move forward. Now, understand, I am 100% for the fact that everybody makes decisions as a family and decide things together and move forward, etc. I believe in that. I mean, I really think that when you're changing or trying to do something for yourself, that should be that. However, I'm also in the contention that I believe that your partner, whether it be a man, woman, or whatever, wants the best for you. So if the thing that you're choosing to do is something that's actually going to be of a benefit for you, physically, mentally, healthily, all that stuff, there's absolutely no way that they should be against that. So the idea of I have to go ask permission before I do something that's good for me makes no sense in that term when it comes to that. Now, if it comes to buying something frivolous, hey, I'm going to buy a new car, or I'm going to buy a purse, or I'm going to buy a new toy for myself, right? It kind of makes sense to discuss that with your partners before you do this, because this is taking money away from something that's important to do something that's just kind of a nice little thing that I want to gift myself, so to speak. But when it comes to your health, it's like saying that, okay, I need an operation for me to be better. I have the money to pay for it, but before I do, I need to go get permission. Otherwise, I can't do it, even though this could absolutely save my life right now. That sounds ridiculous, right? When I say it that way, but that's the same thing that I equate like people really doing the right things when it comes to taking care of their health. And they don't do that because they think that they need to quote unquote get permission from their significant others first. And so the trend is kind of like disturbing because, like I said, the men come in, they usually make their decisions, no problem, and everything is fine. And of course, it could be like, oh, yeah, well, this is a bigger financial burden than we initially thought, or this is a financial thing that we weren't necessarily prepared for, but we understand why it's for, so therefore we support it and continue. But what I found that's interesting is there's a certain group of women that come here that gets the exact opposite feedback. And I always find that fascinating because some women come here, they usually tend to be independent, either divorced, single, or whatever it is. They've raised their kids on their own. They've actually put their families first and they've done everything. And they come here and they decide like, hey, I'm going to put my health first. I'm going to do all the right things. And they make the decision and they move forward and there's no feedback or pushback from anyone. And they just basically do what they want to do, which is awesome. But there's a certain group of women that come here, and what I found is that they found themselves for the last 20, 30 years basically taking care of everyone else and putting them first. And then they get a chance to now start looking at their health, right? Because they're watching their things decline over the last whatever number of years. And they're tired of feeling like crap and they want to do something to improve their livelihoods. And they show up here and they're excited about the possibility of watching everything get better. And they take action to move forward. And all they get is pushback from their significant others. And I'm always fascinated by that. Like, why? Why is that? And I don't know. I've come to realize something, right? I guess there's certain types of men out there that are used to being the ones to make all the decisions and telling their spouses what they can and cannot do. And because a decision was actually made about something that's going to make them better without their consult, they now maybe their egos got bruised or they feel some kind of way about it and therefore they push back instead of actually supporting their family. Here's what I think though. I know that these men actually care about their spouses and I know that they want the best for them. But at the same time, they feel like they have to protect, that they have to step in and take over everything because, well, she's not supposed to be able to make decisions like this on her own. I'm supposed to be the one leading her. What I find interesting though is that for most of these women, they've been asking for months or years about doing something, and they've just simply been ignored by those men. Now, when they finally take action and do something for themselves, now those men have something to say about it. And well, no, shouldn't have done that. And you got to do it this way. And it's got to be different and whatever. And I just think that it's just an ego thing more so than anything else. And I don't know. I don't know if I find it funny or if I find it irritating or whatever it is. But I mean, I think that's something that should stop. I mean, we have a generation. Listen, guys. Gen Xers, baby boomers. We have the generation, right, where we know and understand that everything is a partnership, but yet that there's a certain kind of a hierarchy, whether you want to call it that, in the relationship. There's usually one that leads and everyone else follows. It's not a good or bad thing. It just is something that actually makes the dynamics work with everyone. And this is one of those that seems to challenge that hierarchy when it really isn't that at all. I mean, I think the fact that your spouse wants to be better should be something that everybody should support. I think the fact that your spouse is making their health a priority should be something that everyone should champion. But for some reason, it's not always well received. Couple of things that I've seen as trends. One is usually the other spouse that's not receiving it well is either already doing something for themselves physically and they like the attention that they get, but they don't necessarily want the same for their spouse. They want them to be healthy, but they don't want them to go through the same process because maybe it'll raise some doubts about themselves. Maybe it'll challenge the status quo. Maybe it'll make them feel like they're not enough. I don't know, but it'll definitely stir something within them that makes it an issue. So they want to avoid that. Or the second thing that I find is that they really want their spouse to be healthy, but the idea now that someone else, maybe because they start looking better and they start feeling better, they start being more confident, they maybe fear that they may not be enough. And therefore, they don't want them to quote unquote improve because if they improve, they may seem like they're less than for that person, which I find super interesting. There's also another dynamic, though, that I think is really, really clear, is that the other spouse is not healthy and doesn't follow healthy habits. And all of a sudden, when she wants to do something that's going to make her better, that's going to absolutely highlight the fact that they don't. And they would rather keep them down, keep them unhealthy just like they are, instead of letting them get better. That is just downright selfish and fucked up, and that I absolutely have a problem with. It's one thing if you want to ruin your life and you want to kind of stay where you are and not make improvements. Hey, look, we're all human beings. We all have the right to choose whatever the fuck we want for ourselves. But it's a whole nother thing to actually impose that on someone else simply because you don't feel confident enough in your ability to do something for yourself. That's the part that actually rubs me wrong. So whenever I get that feedback from people where it's like, yeah, I'm doing this and I'm going to, but my spouse isn't supportive or my spouse is giving me feedback or this and that and whatever, it always gets me to question and wonder. Sometimes I'll have the conversations with the people involved and ask about the spouse and what their routine is like and what they do and learn. And other times I don't even bother. And it's not because I don't want to know or I don't want to help. It's simply because I feel bad for them. I feel so bad that the person that they've dedicated their lives to, the people that they've supported for all these years, now that they want to do something for themselves, instead of getting support from them, they're actually getting pushback and feedback and crap. How fucking selfish is that? I mean, really, think about this. You spent the last 10, 20, 30 years of your life caring for these people, providing everything for them, making sure that you're there for everything that they need, putting you and your health on the back burner so that they can have what they want. And now that you finally want to do something for you to actually help you feel better because you've been suffering in silence for the last umpteen fucking years, now that you actually want to do that, instead of them basically bending over backwards, jumping through every fucking hoop there is to support you and be there for you and actually help you do that, what they want to do instead is bitch about the fact that if you do that, you may not be available for them as much as you were before, or you may not be this or that, or it's going to cost money. What the fuck kind of support shit is that? That's what pisses me off. That someone can dedicate their lives all this time, right, to supporting up others. And when they actually need something, instead of getting that, what they get is pushback and bullshit from their quote unquote loving fucking partner. That makes me question a lot of things. Now, granted, I am not in the relationship, so there's a lot that I don't know. And they probably are super loving and supportive in all kinds of different ways. But man, that would definitely give me pause if my partner, instead of actually being happy for me, wanting to do something to improve me, got pissed off that I chose to do something to make me better. Because what that tells me is one or two things. Either they don't believe in me enough to help me do what I need to do and help me get to improve and get to that next level, or they don't think I'm worth it. Honestly, I don't know which one is worse. But either way, it's pretty fucked up to be in that environment. And like I said before I started this, I'm probably pissing off a lot of people that are listening to this. And I'm okay with that. I don't mean to make you mad and upset. I just simply want you to look at what's happening and figure out a way to make it better. So maybe instead of cowering, so to speak, and like giving in, so to speak, to that, maybe we could have the conversation with the other partners and help them understand that, hey, the reason why you're doing this isn't because you're trying to run away from them. It's because you're trying to be better for them. Look, I don't think people understand this. If you're healthier and you're better and you're able to do more than you are right now, that means that everyone around you benefits from that. Sometimes people don't see that, and it might be simply having that conversation to help them understand a different side. So instead of them actually being against it, they can now be supportive of it because they realize that you improving means that they improve regardless of what they choose to do or not. Because if you're better, you can do better and give more. But if you're not, kind of hard, right? To be able to do more and give more to someone when I'm suffering from everything. I don't know about you guys, but if I feel like shit, I don't feel like doing anything for anybody else. I just want to kind of go into my little corner and just whatever. But if I feel good, a whole different story. Come and ask me for anything. I got you. Because I got the energy, I feel good, I feel amazing when I can actually go out there and do that. There's something about being physically capable of doing things that really changes how you feel about everything and how you perform everything there is. So make it a priority. Those of you out there that are in that situation, the women especially, understand you trying to do something for yourself is the right thing to do. You trying to be better and be improving is the right thing to do. Your spouse, not necessarily supportive, isn't like they don't love you. It's just simply that they don't understand the benefit for them. So one way that you might approach it, instead of, oh yeah, look at the money I'm spending, is look, I am doing this so that I can be here for you longer. All of the things that I've done for the last 10, 20, 30 years, you want me to keep doing them. I need to feel better than I do now in order to be able to continue. So this is a good trade-off for that. You don't want me to get better? I don't need to continue taking care of you because you're not taking care of me. I know, sounds fucked up, right? Or sounds harsh, or sounds whatever. But sometimes, us men, we can be hard-headed, right? So those of us that kind of think that way, and when I say us, I don't really put me in that category, but fuck it. For the purpose of this, I'm going to. But if we think that way, and you actually talk to us like that, we might actually open our ears and our arts and everything else and listen and follow through and actually help support you in this, which is really all you want, right? Because if both of you are on the same page about this, and both of you are in that mind space that you being better is better for everyone all around, it makes everything so much easier. Because as you're making these changes, you're not only going to be doing more activities and doing some things physically to change, you're also going to change a lot of your habits, a lot of the things that you do at home, a lot of things that you do with your cooking and the foods that you eat and the different things that you do on a regular basis. Those are going to change. So they are going to be affected by it in a positive way, whether they want it to or not. And that's sometimes something that they're not willing to accept, right? Because they're happy with their routines the way that it is. They're happy doing the bullshit that they've been doing that's maybe not necessarily helping them. And the fact that you're going to change is going to force them to improve as well. And some people don't necessarily want that. But just because they don't want it doesn't mean that they don't need it, and it's not going to be for their benefit as well. So for those women that are in those type of situations, I commend you for stepping up and stepping out and actually looking and trying to do something better. Whether you coming here or going anywhere else to be able to improve what you're doing, keep fucking doing it. That is the right thing to do. Keep pushing, keep trying, keep putting your foot forward, keep actually doing the things that are necessary for you to improve. And if you're getting that pushback from them, talk to them in a different way to help them be able to see that you doing this is for everyone's benefit, not just yours. And if they can't see it, I don't know what to tell you. I know if it was me, I'd just fucking kick him to the curb, but that's just me. Yeah. Anyway, so not recommending that you do that, okay? That's not what this is about. But I'm just saying that in a situation like this, maybe make them understand the value that you bring to the table. And if they don't take that, if they take that for granted, then you have a whole different problem in your hands. And I hope that that's not the situation for most of you guys. Yeah, this is definitely taking a different tone from what I normally would talk about. But I think this is super important, guys. This is definitely a topic that, yeah, most people wouldn't address. But for our generation, damn it, this is something that needs to be freaking talked about. Guys, support your freaking wives, right? Make sure that you are there for them, help them get what they need, because them being healthier and better is better for you in every freaking category. I hope you guys understand that, because really in every category. So do the right things, be supportive. And those of you that are not out there doing anything for yourselves, hell, maybe you should join them into that. And you'll find out that you getting healthier too is also better for everyone around. Not just for them, not just for you, but for your kids and everybody else that's involved. So make it a win-win thing, man. Join in with them, get started, get doing what you need to do, right? And instead of actually being well, you can't do this because I didn't choose it. Fuck, support them. Because this is actually something that's good for them. If they're making their health a priority, that means they care enough about you to want to be around for you for a long fucking time. Enjoy it, appreciate it, and move with it. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Man, I want to thank you for listening. This is definitely a topic that, like I said, might ruffle some feathers, but whatever. It needs to be said. It needs to be addressed. And if you guys have any questions, or you're trying to figure out what to do or how to do, or maybe you don't know where to start or whatever, reach out. Let's have a conversation. Let's figure out what we need to do for you to help you become the absolute biggest badass that you were designed to be. And let's go from there. All right. Love you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.